Welcome, travelling friends of Australia. We are Willem and Anneke, and we hope you enjoy this episode of our podcast,
where we have a chat to other travellers and give them the opportunity to tell their stories and share the tips that they've learned along the way. Hey, welcome to our next episode. We've got Jamie Vogler, and he's also called the Nomads. He does really good on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube, and he's a young guy from Perth. We're so excited to talk to him. So let's hear from Jamie. Hey, Jamie, how are you going?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How are you guys?
Yeah,
we're good. Thank you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about who Jamie is?
Who Jamie is? Well, I'm from West Australia. I'm actually down in Perth. I'm based in Perth. A lot of my content is from all up the West Australian coast. I just pretty much do a lot of ocean activities, starting to do a bit of full driving stuff. And yeah, basically I just love the adventurous lifestyle. So yeah.
You do anything else except for your adventurous lifestyle?
All of the realistic side of life I still do. Obviously, you've got to earn money, which is, the goal is to try and do what I'm doing full time eventually, with a few other goals in between, which I don't usually talk about too much, but I would love to have my own business one day, which is a huge reason for why I'm doing what I'm doing. Just it's a good way to build brand, I guess, and a good, having a good fan base is one way to do that. So that's one reason. And also I love sharing with people my adventures and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, obviously there is the real life side of things. So I do still work. I do have to obviously pay the bills. So yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, the Nomads that you've created, is that part of your brand?
It is, yeah. So the Nomads is basically the YouTube side of things. And I pretty much started the Nomads brand just as a way, I don't know, I think if you have just Jamie Vogler, there's not, I don't know, I really didn't think anyone would just follow Jamie Vogler. So I made the Nomads and I thought, people would be interested. Now I still love the Nomads brand and everything, and it just, I guess it's a bit more catchy than just my name. But yeah, the only reason I did that was just to create a bit of a community around what I do. So yeah, but the name has absolutely no real meaning as such. It was just something that I thought sounded cool, and I stuck with it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Brody Moss. I think that's an inspiration for you, isn't he? I know I've seen, before you went viral, I've seen videos of yourself, and that's when you met him.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a subject that I used to love, getting, your stuff's like Brody Moss, and now I get it, and it's like, come on.
I still see it.
I'm trying to sort of just stay. Obviously I love what he does. There's no question. And he's an awesome bloke as well. I've met him a couple of times now, and he's definitely an inspiration. And I pretty much started everything I'm doing just about a couple of weeks before I actually met him. And that's sort of what put me, I guess, on the map a little bit, because one of my YouTube videos with him got a couple of views. So definitely I appreciate what he does a heap. But it was very, very similar back then to what he does. And it's sort of, it's hard because I do a lot of the exact same things that he does. So to try and make it a little bit different is hard. And I don't mind if people compare it. But yeah, that's just, I'm trying to create my own sort of brand at the moment and trying to be a little bit different. So yeah.
That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about, or maybe our viewers or the people that haven't met you, because we know who you are and we've seen your content.
Yeah.
The people who are listening, what kind of adventures do you go on? And if it's just one type of adventure, or you do the camping, fishing, everything, or?
Yeah. Good question. So usually I haven't been on as many as I'd like to lately because I've had a lot of other stuff go on, but I basically get my car, get my boat, and I only go north, and I'll just go fishing, camping, and do all that sort of fun stuff, diving, spearfishing, fishing, what else? Yeah, it's just exploring pretty much. I don't really have a set sort of thing because I tend to get distracted a little bit. If I'm driving along the coast and I see a cliff or something, I'll just drive to the cliff and walk through it. So yeah, there's not really ever a plan or anything to what I do, and it's just basically just showing people what I enjoy doing. So yeah.
Before you started doing all those things, was it someone in your family that, or how, like, were you always doing it as a kid with the family, or how did that all start? The love of camping and fishing.
Well, I've been brought up doing it, that's for sure. Both my parents took me on those sort of trips and everything. Never to the, I guess, adventurous scale that I did, but the thing that did get me over there is I was a huge Steve Irwin fan ever since I was tiny, obviously, and I just loved what he did. So he's probably the biggest inspiration I got. Everyone thinks Brody Moss, but it's well before that. So and then basically I just love doing that sort of stuff, and I watched your Full Drive Actions and your All for Adventure and all those YouTube channels, and I just thought that was pretty awesome. And I always hear of people saying that they want to do it, so I just thought, why not give it a crack? That's where I am.
So what do your parents think about Jamie Vlogger and the things that you do?
They're completely supportive of it. They both love it as well. So my last trip, I usually take my my last trip I went with my brother and my dad. So that was, I'm always around the family really. So yeah, they love it. And they're not really someone to get on the camera. And neither was I to start with, to be honest. But now it's just good fun, just a good laugh. So, but they're supportive.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any advice for the people that are around Perth and like us about places that you go like close by, or do you always just drive a bit
weekend getaway?
Yeah.
Close to Perth, weekend getaway. Gee, I don't want to give away too much. No, I reckon if you're close to Perth, well, there's this website you're probably familiar with. It's called Parkstay, which it gives you all of the free off-grid type of government campsites, I guess, that you can go to, and they usually got fire pits, and you got your own little site, so you're not going to get done by the ranger and stuff like that. So I'd recommend just going on there. There's so many around that even I haven't really tried, but yeah, I reckon if I had to name one, it'd probably be Wedge Island Campground. I love it in there. It's just got to be not windy, otherwise it's pretty bad.
Is that your favorite spot?
Close to Perth, I guess.
Definitely not my favorite, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So what is your favorite spot?
I won't give away the exact location. But it's a location up that way. We have to have a boat to get there, but it's around that area. And I took the boat offshore on one of my episodes, probably about, I don't know now, 8 back. It was a while ago. And I just went over and camped on an island there, which technically you're probably not meant to do. Hence the reason I'm not going to say where it is. But it was, it's good fun.
Okay, good.
I guess having the boat as well, because you see like the videos that I've watched, you see a lot of like wildlife and like spectacular things. And I think the boat helps with that, and maybe going into those remote areas. It's a bit of a thrill, and it's like exciting, I guess, because you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like the best thing about going in the ocean is you don't know really what you're going to get, because obviously if you're just driving along and camping and stuff, it's just your general sort of stuff, which is cool. Like you're cooking and you're set up and everything like that, and you'll get a good sunset. But I think when you're in a boat, I mean, you can't script the dolphin coming up in front of you, or you can't just script to catch a fish. No, I'm not that good.
The ocean's big.
Yeah, exactly. And then just like a whale coming up out of nowhere, or all sorts of stuff. You just can't script it. So that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
So you recommend we get a tinny to put on our car when we go?
100%. 100%. And that's another thing as well. You don't need a huge boat to be able to go do stuff. I had a tinny for ages. I actually don't have a boat anymore because I'm getting a new one. But the tinny that I had, man, I've done everything with that. And you really don't need a huge boat. So it's one thing that I try and drill into people's heads.
Yeah, I miss being on the ocean. I spent 7 years in the Navy, and we're definitely getting a tinny or boat or something.
Yeah. Yeah, even a kayak's fun. It's a bit of effort, but it still gets you out there. So yeah, and they're light, good to travel around with.
Yeah. So you're waiting on the boat. Let's talk your camping rig you set up there. Explain.
Camping setup. So it's had a complete overhaul recently. So I've got a new car. So I got a Prado 150 series, which is a 2012 model. It's a manual. Picked that up because my Navara that I had up until very recently actually died. Well, it had an issue and I didn't know what it was. So I just basically sold it as scrap, which is pretty disappointing, but I had to. So ended up getting a Prado, and I haven't really done anything to it just yet. It's really stock standard, but I don't really go down any hectic sort of tracks or anything like that. So I made the mistake with the Navara and I spent a lot of money on it. You know, your new tires, your suspension, and your all that groovy stuff. That, I mean, it's good and it definitely helps. There's no question about it. But probably not necessary for what I do. You know, I don't need any lockers or anything. I'm not going up any crazy trails. So yeah. But that's the Prado. I just want new tires and then I'll be happy with that. And then for camping, I just use a swag, just the old King's double swag. I wouldn't mind getting a rooftop tent, actually. That's probably the next thing that I'll get. I've never used it, but it seems like a good idea. And yeah, so is that what you want? The boat as well. Did you want to know about the boat?
Yeah, that's good.
A whole setup. Yeah. So I'm getting a new boat with Mortec Marine. So that will be ready very, very shortly, probably I won't put a time on it, but within the next month, it'll be ready.
Nice.
That's going to be awesome. So very excited for that.
It's not a tinny, right? It's bigger.
It's definitely
seen some of the stories. It looks a bit bigger.
It's definitely bigger than a tinny. It's around about a 5-meter boat, but it's a very big 5-meter boat. It's got very high sides. It's built extremely tough. It's got 4 mil alley bottom and sides and everything. So it's going to be quite a heavy little thing, but very tough, and it's going to have all the features and stuff. Something that I'm not used to. So I'm very excited for that because it's going to change everything that I do and a lot safer as well.
Yeah.
I normally ask a question and I'll know what your answer is going to be because I see where your priorities lie.
I don't think you have to ask it.
No, I don't need to ask it. We normally ask, do you prefer bush or beach? But it looks like you spend your priorities on your boat, so you prefer the beach and being on the ocean and fishing and stuff. So
well, I do. Although if it's now when it's winter, I don't really like going near the ocean, especially down here. So I do a fair bit of camping that I don't actually even really share with anyone. So that's usually bush type stuff, which I want to start sharing, but I don't know. It's sometimes good to go away and not have to worry about filming and stuff like that. So yeah. But I do love bush stuff, and I love having a campfire and everything like that. So yeah, it's a surprising answer, but I'd probably rate them the same.
Yeah.
Good you
half and half.
Good thing you asked it then.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I've seen a few people ask you why you're not moving up north then for all your footage, because I mean your brand is building quite
good. It's strong.
Yeah, it's really good, your brand, and why not get more content? Why don't you move up north to get more into all of that? You don't have this honestly, but
no, there is really no reason. I mean, apart from everyone's down here, all my family and friends and stuff. So that's probably a reason. Although I do have a lot of friends and stuff that I've made up north. So I guess that's not really a reason either. I've just stayed down here as well because I've had the boat being built. There's really, I don't know. I would like to move up there eventually. There's no question about it. Obviously, I love being up there. So yeah, it's definitely not off the cards. But at the moment, I'll be staying down here and just doing a bit of stuff in Perth for now, and then eventually the idea is to grow my brand a little bit further, because you can get away with just doing little trips, and especially once I get the new boat, I'll be doing sort of a lot more little trips, so the content can spread a lot longer, and then I can stay down here and still get away with putting out content. So yeah, until the brand's a bit bigger, and then once it's bigger, the plan is to be able to do a bit more traveling. So
yeah. I guess once lockdown, not lockdown, but like all of COVID, really.
Yeah.
I don't know when that will be, but when it goes down a little bit, have you ever thought about traveling maybe around Australia, or maybe just a different state, or some places that you want to see?
Yeah, I'm actually very lucky because I haven't seen all of Australia for any stretch, but I've been to every state in Australia apart from South Australia. So I've, having my parents, we did a lot of traveling when I was growing up. So I've seen a lot. So there's definitely a lot that I still want to see. I'll be going over to Queensland in November, hopefully, if this COVID goes away. But yeah, so there's definitely plans to see more of Australia and get heaps of content. And I've made a lot of friends as well through doing what I'm doing. So they've all invited me over there and stuff like that. So it'll definitely be happening. Just got to be patient, I guess.
Yeah. It's all so exciting.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I can see the Nomads brand just exploding when you start doing that, and you just start living, I woke up today and I'm just gonna go fishing, I'm just gonna take my new boat, or I'm just gonna drive up north, or I'm just gonna do that kind of thing, and that brand come alive.
Yeah, it's got a lot more potential once you sort of can do that, because not a lot of people know, but I haven't been on a trip for probably 2.5 months. It doesn't look like it by looking at my content, but I've been stuck here. So and then there's obviously the other side of it as well. When you're not a big creator, you don't pull in a lot of money from doing what you're doing. So having a boat build go on and a new car and all that sort of stuff, it takes a hit. So having which I love, I'm not complaining about it, but it's my choice. But to have 2.5 months off, and then I'm trying to work even more to try and get some money. But once that's all done, it's going to be a lot different. So content will be heaps more.
Yeah. But you have started the Nomad brand, and you've actually done some merchandise for that, so people can actually buy your merchandise for the Nomad.
I have, yeah. I'm actually wearing a hoodie right now for the Nomads, which is good. And a lot of people have, well, when I say a lot more people than I thought would. It's pretty crazy to, you see people wearing your brand and people actually want to buy it, that's probably the best feeling that you get, about doing it. But so I'm super grateful for that, and it's definitely helped. So yeah.
Do you have any, I guess maybe if there's any tips that you have in regards to content creation, maybe there's a young guy watching this and he wants to start doing that kind of thing.
And he looks up to you, so
yeah. I like this topic because I get a lot of messages all the time from especially younger people, and a lot of them compare themselves, to what I'm doing, and they think, like, I try and tell people as much as possible that just because, I'm trying to promote living the dream, it's not like that full time, because a lot of people will see me out on the water and everything, and it's not all like that all the time, but at all. So I'm trying to get that out there, because I think there's a lot of creators out there, who maybe promote all the good sides of it and not the bad sides, and I think can be pretty dangerous. So but if I was to give any advice to someone starting, it would probably be to just not ask questions and not ask how to start, because I did that, and I found myself, there's probably every top creator has probably got a message in their messages from me asking how to start and how to be a YouTuber, and it's just not a question that you should ask. It's just go do it. There's no other way to I think asking a question is just a way to pretend like you're trying, which you really, you might get a couple of tips here and there, but the best way to do it is to get a camera. Don't worry about all the fancy equipment and stuff. Just go out there and record it. You hear it from everyone, but it's literally the only way to do it. Probably I could recommend getting a GoPro, I guess. You don't need the highest quality GoPro at all, but just a GoPro, I think, is a camera that anyone can use, pretty affordable, hard to break, and good quality. So yeah.
That's awesome. I like it that it's just that, just go and do it. And that's really with anything. If you've got a vision or you've got a dream or you've got, something that you want, and you just need to like do it. Like whatever's in the way, get that out of the way and then just do it. Otherwise, if there's nothing stopping you, then just start it.
Yeah. So, and some people are really doing it. They just need to document it. And exactly. That's the life they're living already. They just need to document it and show it.
Yeah. Document's the biggest thing. I think someone said to me, I forget who it was, but document and don't create content. Just document what you do. If you create it, you're not going to last very long because you're trying too hard. And obviously it depends for some brands, obviously, like depends what YouTube videos you're doing. You can't just but yeah, just create content, being who you are, and don't try and change who you are. And also another thing is completely different topic, but if you get comments from people that are sort of negative and stuff like that, which everyone does, just let the positives outweigh it, and also look at the negatives though. And like some negative, it's hard to discuss, but if some negative comments you get, just use that to actually improve, because they might be right. Even if they're harsh, they could be right. And that's one thing that I learned. You look at a lot of stuff and it might sound like a really, really harsh comment, but they've actually got a point. So you don't take it to heart, but change what you're doing a little bit and learn from it. And yeah, that's probably my top advice.
Yeah, I like that one.
I think some people just don't know how to write a comment, like a constructive feedback comment. So they just write what they feel. And sometimes you don't know because the person hasn't actually told you in person. They're just writing comments you don't know. Yeah,
they don't have the voice of their feelings behind it. It's just words, and it may come forward as being harsh, but it's just the context in the reading that it's put in. So that's a great tip.
I know that I got a lot of I get a lot of comments that are positive, like really positive comments. And I think it's important as well to not take those to heart, just as important it is to take the negative ones, because, getting positive comments, oh, you're an amazing YouTuber, you're doing so well and stuff like that. I think it's just as toxic to take those ones as it is the negative, because, you've just got to, I guess, take them equally, say thank you and just move on. And make sure you just keep doing what you're doing and don't let it get to you. So
staying humble and just being real and just loving it, because you're ultimately doing it because you love it.
Love that lifestyle.
And that's, I think, the people who usually do the best is when they just do it because they love it, and people can see that there's passion behind it. So
for sure.
So talking about content anyways, and all of the platforms, where and what are your actual names on each platform that people can find you? So we're going to pop it into the video and all of the description below as well. So
start off with YouTube. So it's just the Nomads. Simple. Instagram is jamie.vogler, or you just search Jamie Vogler, it'll come up. TikTok, Jamie Vogler, and that's really about all I use. There's also the Instagram page for the Nomads, which is just the Nomads as well.
Awesome. Cool. I'm pretty sure you'll get a few followers from this as well.
Cool. Yeah, good. It's always good. If anyone has any questions that's watching this, feel free to ask. I'm always happy to. I try and answer all my DMs, so feel free to send one. Don't be shy. It's good to. Another thing I'll add quickly. It's good to not try and focus on making money off it, I think, to start with as well, because I've noticed that I've got the merch, obviously that's a little bit different, but if you don't focus on making money and just focus on the good content, then that will slowly come to you, which I've just sort of started to have that happen. So I think if you just focus on the content and your brand, and then people will start to come to you. So don't go to the money, let it come to you.
All the best for your boat, finishing off your boat and getting onto your next trip, and yeah, look forward to the next content.
Yeah, cheers. Appreciate it.